It just takes a little second for this to load. Right, there we go. Morena Tato, it's me, Georgia Hatchis again from Digital Boost. We're here for another Q&A event with the wonderful Emily Ragg. Thank you, Emily, for coming back. If you remember, last week we had you on for our Checkable tool, and we were talking about how to get found online with Checkable. And if you missed that one, go into our archives and you can find it. Just, I think if we Google, don't Google, go to Digital Boost into the search function and just pop in Checkable or how to get found online or Emily's name, and you'll see that recording. That was pretty fantastic. Today, we're going to be talking about enhancing your online customer experience, again, using the Checkable tool, which I think is fantastic because it's free and it's on our platform. And how lucky are we to have that? So I think Emily's going to run us through a little bit, again, what Checkable is, how to use it, and then we're going to get into enhancing our customer experience, right?
That's right. Cool. Thanks, Georgia.
Thanks, Emily.
Let me share my screen and we'll jump straight into it. So, hi to everybody. Welcome if you're new, and hi again if you came last week. I am just going to do a really quick run through about what Checkable is in case you are new. Apologies if you've seen this before, but Checkable is a really fantastic tool on the Digital Boost platform, where if you have a business website, you can add it to Checkable and it runs a whole bunch of diagnostic tests to see basically the health of your website, how it's doing, places that you could make improvements, so that you can be most successful online. So this is the Checkable homepage. And the thing that you really want to know about is this section, which is where all your results are on the tests that are run on Checkable. And then this section, which is the digital action plan. So the digital action plan is personal to your business and it's making sense of all these tests. So you can see if we drop down here, there's lots of tests that are run, and it can be pretty overwhelming to know where do you begin and what, how to start. So this is what the digital action plan is about. They're broken into easy business wins, which are things that you can probably do yourself really quickly. Business essentials, which are going to take a bit longer, might take a bit more resource. And then long-term goals, which are the things that will make, really big impact, but will probably take much longer to do or to implement. Maybe more money and potentially some external help from developers. Would suggest that you start with the easy business wins, because those are things you can just sort of check off straight away and make a really big difference to your site. So today we're talking about customer experience. So what things can you do on your website to make it easy for your customers to get around it, and make it an easy and nice shopping experience. So especially for e-commerce businesses, but even if you have maybe just a brochure site, so just a place where people can come and see who you are, what are some things that you can do to make that a nice experience for your customers? So you can see there are a lot of checks that we run in the customer experience category. We won't run through all of them today, but we'll take you through most of them. And if you have any questions about any of them, just contact our support team at Digital Boost. So it's support@digitalboost.co.nz. I think George might chuck that in the chat for you. But first of all, we'll take a look at the About Us page. So this check is binary. You either have an About Us page or you don't. And an About Us page is fairly explanatory. It's just letting your customers know who you are, what you're about, maybe why you started the business, a bit about your products and services. You might have information about your company elsewhere on your site, but it's quite nice to have a dedicated About Us page because customers are really used to looking for that. So if they want to know more about you, maybe you want to let people know that you're a family-owned business or a New Zealand-owned business. It's a nice place for people to actively go and find more about you and your business. Occasionally, you might get a status that says this, unable to detect, and sometimes that's just because the security on your site is really good and Checkable struggles to find some of that information. We try and do a few different tests to try and get that information, but you might see this. So if you know you've got an About Us page and this comes up, don't worry too much. Checkable is basically a place that sort of sparks your kind of sparks some interest in different areas that you can look at. So if you know that these things appear on your site, that's all good. Also, please let us know, because it means that we can maybe dig a little deeper and see if we can find out why that might be happening for you. So that's the About Us page. The next one we will go to is the contact form. So you've got an About Us page, so people know who you are. Now your customers might want to get in touch with you. So instead of having to man the phones or answering emails day and night, a contact form is a great way for your customers to be able to make an inquiry or ask you something. And it is literally a form embedded on your website where they can input their name, a query, maybe some extra details that you want to capture from them, like their email address or maybe their phone number if they're wanting to be called back. And it's a great way for you to be contacted and then get back in touch with people once you've received that inquiry. So usually it will come to an inbox that you can keep track of, but it means that you don't have to be getting back to people, every 5 minutes, day and night. So again, that's a relatively straightforward one that you can have on your site. This would most likely sit on a Contact Us page. So you've got your About Us page in your menu. You might also have a contact page as well. That's where that would sit. So these are pretty easy ones that you can do yourself, and it will make your score on Checkable increase. So these are nice, quick and easy ones to do. So speaking of emails, the next page we've got is the confirmation emails page. So rather than a test that Checkable runs on your website, this is one where it requires your input just to let us know about what's actually happening on your site. So you can click this modal and you'll be taken through a series of questions that ask you about what happens on your website. So for example, do your customers receive an email after submitting an inquiry on your website? So that's just to confirm that you have received it and to let them know that the action that they have taken has worked. So you can go through these and it will spit out an answer for you.
So Emily, just quickly, that confirmation email is something that you can set up from your contact us, from the contact form, right? So if it's contact us here, it's an automatic reply that might say something like, we've received your inquiry and we'll get back to you within 24 hours or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Sorry, exactly. It's an automated email. So it's not something that you have to physically do every time. They're set off by triggers and it might be in different moments. So it would be, if someone's inquired on your form, there's an automated email to say, thank you for your inquiry. And it's just a really nice way for customers to know that what they have submitted has worked and that it will be followed up later. And you can put information in those emails, for example, maybe how long it might take for you to get back to them. So it might be that it will take 24 hours, or maybe it might take a few days, or it might even take an hour, depending on how often you're looking at those emails and being able to respond to your customers. So just having a little bit of information about, so thanking them for their inquiry and letting them know what's going to happen next. So there's different moments that you can set these automatic emails up to be triggered from. So it could be after subscribing to emails. So maybe your website has a pop-up when people first come along that says, subscribe to newsletters or subscribe to our website, and that lets them opt into receiving marketing emails from you. After they've subscribed to your site or your emails, you might send an automatic email saying, thanks for subscribing, welcome to the team. We're really happy to have you here. You'll hear this sort of information from us every week, every month. And of course, a really important one is after someone makes a purchase. And so you might want to say, thank you for your purchase, have some of the purchase details there that again are automated based on what they've just done. Any tracking details, so if you can link it to the courier that's going to be delivering perhaps the products, any information that your customers might need. It's really important, not only for their own peace of mind that everything's been accepted and they're not going to make an additional purchase by accident, but it also stops inquiries coming to you asking for all that information. So hopefully it reduces the number of kind of support queries or customer queries, and it gives peace of mind to your customers that everything's in order.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point, because it saves time for you as well, that you're not constantly emailing people back and forth.
Where's my product? When's it going to show up? If you can have those sort of details already populated, they can click through to the to the courier tracking to see where it is, or they might wait a few days if you've said, it might take 3 to 4 days for this to be delivered, whatever it might be.
Right.
And there's some other places that you might consider having an automated email. So maybe after making a booking, maybe if you're a service business, someone's made a booking, again, it's just automating that so the person knows that the action they've made has succeeded, been successful. A lot of these will be set up already, depending on what kind of platforms you use. But it's just nice to check that these are all in place. Or after entering competition, signing up for a discount, any kind of interaction that you have with a customer where they have inputted their email address, a great way to kind of keep in touch with them, really, and stay top of mind. The next test that we're going to look at is email marketing. So I've talked about automated emails based on particular triggers or actions that a customer has taken. So you now have your customer's email. This page is looking at where in your email marketing journey are you? Do you use email at all to keep your customers informed about what's new, what's going on with you, new products, changes in business hours, anything like that? So again, this isn't a test that is run on your website, but more a place that asks you questions just to find out what the reality is of your business practice or your email marketing practice. And so it talks about whether or not you send out to existing customers, where do you get your customer database from? So is it from just receiving emails through a pop-up? Is it from point of sale and you capture it there? Are you offering customers a way to opt in and opt out of your emails? It's really important to have an unsubscribe function on your email so the user, the customer, is in control of what they receive. We look at how do you store your email addresses. So it might be that you use something like MailChimp, Campaign Monitor, HubSpot, something like that to create and send out all of your emails. And that's where you keep your database, but maybe it's something less formal in a notebook, in a spreadsheet, or not at all. It's just haphazard. Do you send different emails depending on who your customer is? So this is all around email segmentation. So it might be that you send one type of email to people that have visited your website but never bought anything. And you might have another email that goes to people that have bought from you before, and maybe you've got new products that they might be interested in. So you send them a slightly different message. Or it might be that you've got different customer segments, different audience types. So you might have a different email that you would send to maybe people interested in the barbecues that you're selling, and maybe that you've got a different email that you send to the people that are interested in your sparkles. So it's looking at what are the different types of customers that you have. Can you group them into different themes or different segments? And are there different messages that you can send them?
And you know what I love about this, Emily, is that even if your answer is no, it's sort of sparking you to think about your customer base in a different way. So Checkable is giving you a little more marketing information to say, like, maybe you do want to switch these categories around and have a group for this and a group for that. So I find that it's not just a tool to check where you rate, but also it's a learning tool.
100%. Yeah, exactly. And some things may or may not work for you as well, but it's just a really cool way to think, yeah, maybe I'll give that a try and see if it works. And just something new to do as well. And then the next one is looking at, do you test your emails before you send them? I know whenever I've set up email campaigns or emails that I'm going to send out to people, I think it's perfect in my email marketing platform, in the template that I've set up. I will do a test run and send it to myself and then think, oh, that doesn't link to the right place that I wanted to link to. Or actually, when I see it rendered in an email window, that spacing looks strange, or there's a spelling mistake, or that button could be called something different. So it's a really good idea to test your emails before you send them out. Even for things like your email itself might be perfect, but maybe the subject line isn't ideal and there's something funny in there. So it's a really great way to check everything is fine before you send it to your customers, so that you don't have to do that awkward, sorry, here's the second email because I forgot the link in the first one. And so there's just a couple of other questions about what would you like help with when it comes to email marketing, and then I think we are done. So depending on the questions that you answered, oh, here we go. It might be taking a little while to update. Depending on how you've answered, you'll be given a different playlist of videos to help you out. Oh, it's not rendering here, classic. So you'll either be a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced status here. And based on that, you'll be able to scroll down and there will be a playlist of videos that will be kind of at the level of that you're at. So beginners are just those really basic starting out ones to get you thinking about sending out emails to customers. And then as you kind of advance, there'll be kind of more technical, more difficult things to implement. If you are a beginner or intermediate, you can always come back and answer some more questions. And once they're updated, it can update your status as well. So if you've actually started saving your customers' emails in a particular database, or maybe you've started segmenting your emails, you can check yes for that and you'll become kind of go to a higher level. So that's email marketing. Taking a slightly different turn now is we're going to the e-commerce page. So this is really only relevant to people that sell products on their website. So it's making the differentiation between a website that presents products and maybe even prices, but your customers aren't physically able to purchase that online and check out. So this is all automated. So rather than someone going to your website and seeing a picture of something that they want to buy and then having to call you or email you or make an inquiry that way, this is just that flow from clicking, adding to basket, checking out, making a much quicker purchase process. So, oh, again, we've got an unable to detect. I wonder if I just refresh this, if it might update. So Checkable will look to see if you've got the things required that makes up an e-commerce website. So it's looking for things like, do you have a shopping cart? Do you have a way for people to check out? Do you have a product or services page that people can go to? So they're looking at specific things that make up an e-commerce website, as well as whether or not when you signed up to Digital Boost, you have answered the question, do you sell products on your website? So it's looking at a few different things. Apologies that this isn't updating today, isn't that always the way in a live session? So the next few tests that we'll talk about are related to e-commerce businesses. So some industries, this won't really be relevant. It might be that you're in construction and you don't actually have products to sell because you're more of a service business. So you may not see these tests. But if Checkable has detected that you are an e-commerce business, there'll be a few more checks that are run to see if that shopping experience is the best that it can be. So the first one we'll look at is shopping cart. So again, this is one where you will interact with the modal and just let Checkable know what is actually happening on your website. So it might be that you need to go and make a dummy purchase on your website, come back to Checkable and answer the questions, just so that you can see exactly what's going on. So it will ask you things like, does your cart show the total number of items in the shopping cart? So this is just to let your customers know that they've added the right quantity, or if they've been sort of adding a lot of things and it might add up to 10 items and they think, oh, actually, I only really wanted 4. It's a really quick way for them to see what's in their cart. Does your cart show an image of each product in the cart? So again, a nice visual cue for your customers to make sure they're purchasing the correct product. Does it show the exact name of each item in the cart? So this again is another way to reiterate the correct item. So it might be that your customer is buying a yellow t-shirt and they've accidentally selected the blue one. So having a picture of a blue t-shirt that says blue t-shirt, maybe size, that's a really important one, is a good way for the user to know that they haven't made a mistake. And it also means that it's less likely to be returns and more admin on your end if they're having to make changes or swap. Does your cart allow your customers to adjust the quantity of each item? So anyone who's done online supermarket shopping, you might know at the end you can go and adjust the quantity of different things. So maybe you get there and you think, oh, actually, I could probably do with an extra packet of crackers and I'll add them up. Or maybe I've accidentally clicked too many washing powders, so I want to decrease those. So again, it's just giving your customers the control over what they're buying, and they can do that right until the very end of the shopping process, and it just means that it's one less hassle for you if they've made a mistake and you've got to sort it out for them. And also, do you allow your customers to remove an item from the cart? So it's one thing to increase and decrease, but can they remove entirely a product? So it might feel counterintuitive to let people do these sorts of things like decrease, remove, but it just means that it creates much better trust and control, and users are much more likely to shop with you if you give them those controls. And then things like, do you have the subtotal? So do they know exactly how much they're going to pay? Do you know exactly how much shipping is going to cost? All these items to give them as much information as possible before they check out. And of course, does your cart have an obvious checkout button? So is it right there? We're wanting to make this as fast as possible for people to get through, so they can just go check out, and before they know it, they've bought something. I definitely know that I go back to the same platforms again and again with that fast shopping experience, and it's almost like a buzz once you've done it, because you think, oh, that was quick. So that's what we're trying to do on our own websites. And so you can see that I've got all the key features that make up a good shopping cart, and you can come down here and sort of visually see what that looks like. And if you just hover over each of these, you'll be able to get a little bit more information about what each of these are and why it's important to have it. But this is sort of what a typical shopping cart might look like where those elements might sit. So you can kind of cross-check to see if yours has got something similar. The next one that we'll do like this is the address autofill. So again, this is one where you run through all the questions in a modal, go to your site, see what's reality, and then answer some questions. So address autofill is looking at, does your website have the functionality that when a user is inputting their address, it automatically detects it and makes a suggestion. So this is really a great way to make sure that the address that they are inputting is accurate. So deliveries will be made to the correct address. So again, hopefully less admin for you if you're having to redirect things or get queries that things have been delivered to the wrong place. So there's a thing around accuracy. Also looking at whether or not there's a manual override. So a user might select an address, but are they able to actually remove it and start again? Or if it has pre-populated with an address that they've used previously, are they able to update it just in case it's an old address? And another really handy function that makes checkout much quicker is the ability for your customers to copy their billing address to the shipping address, or vice versa. Sometimes it's the other way around, but that just saves them having to type out the same address twice when more often than not, someone is purchasing something personally. So the address that's connected to their credit card is likely to be their home address. So it's, again, making that shopping process much, much faster. And there's other things to consider when you're choosing an address autofill function. So international addresses, are you likely to send your products overseas? Do you need to consider postcodes? So making sure that whatever the postcode field is, it's not limiting to a certain country. I don't know if you've ever tried shopping on an overseas website before and it tries to force you to put your postcode in a certain format, which isn't the same as New Zealand. It's really annoying. So is it set up for if you're sending to international customers that it accepts a range of different addresses and postcodes? And another interesting thing to consider is dispatch companies. So there's a range of companies that offer to pack and dispatch products for businesses. And so especially if you've got a small number of products, but a really high turnover, they can manage all of that fulfillment for you. And it can make it much easier between receiving an order and getting it out to your customers. So that's something to explore if maybe you've only got a handful of products, but you're selling them really quickly. That's something interesting to take a look at. So there are a couple of other checks that we look at that kind of follow that same format. So you go to your website, make a dummy purchase, come back to Checkable when you're at the certain point that you need to be to answer some questions. So things like shipping options. Do you have a range of shipping options that your customers are expecting? And payment options. Again, do you have a range of maybe payment options like credit card? Do you accept cash on the day? Do you accept like a lay-by or a future purchase type of option? So you can check those out as well if you come to Checkable. The next one we'll look at is content display on social. So this page is looking at your product pages so where you sell a product online. You can enter a product page URL here. I'll just take you here. So you can put your, any page that has a product on it, you can put it here and run the test. And it will just check to see if you shared that URL on social media, so on Facebook or WhatsApp or Instagram, what kind of details are displayed. So this is really important to give your customers as many details as possible, especially if somebody's actually sharing it with somebody else. People are way more likely to click on a link if they can see what it's about. So the things that we're looking for here is there a product image? So it actually shows exactly the product. Is there a web address so people know where they're going to be redirected and know they can trust it? Is there a product title and a product description to tell you about what you're about to click on as well? So you can hover over these and learn a little bit more about why those are important. So you can see here we've got all of those. So if we share this link on social media, or if I share it with a friend, they're going to get all the information that they need about what that link is, and again, much more likely to click it and take them through to your website. The less number of these that you have, the less likely people are going to click. And so finally, what we're going to look at today is accessibility. So accessibility is getting more and more important, and it's getting more and more required legally around the world. So in America, you actually get fined if you don't adhere to some of these accessibility rules. Be interesting to see how that affects New Zealand soon. But accessibility is basically making your website as easy to view or navigate regardless of your ability. So it's especially around if people are using assistive technology like screen readers to help them navigate their site. So they might be low vision, or maybe they might have different abilities and mobility and being able to move a mouse around. So they might have some assistive technology that helps them navigate your website. And so accessibility looks at a whole range of different things. And it's different depending on whether someone is using a mobile or a desktop device. So you might find that these numbers change. So interestingly enough, they are the same for this one, but often you'll find that mobile is much lower. That's quite common. And if you hover over here, you can kind of see what these mean. So ideally, you want to be in the 90 to 100 bracket, that green bracket. So we're nearly there. So there's a few things that we can do to make our website more accessible. You can download the full report here. There's a specific report for mobile and for desktop. And so there's a few things that you'll be able to change yourself that will make a big difference to your site's accessibility. So you can scroll down here. But there might be some things that actually are a wee bit more technical. So you might need to give that report to a developer or someone that you know that's got good kind of website skills, just to say these things are getting flagged on my website as something to fix. Is that something that you might be able to help with? Again, if you're giving this to a developer, we'd always suggest getting a quote, maybe kind of a time frame before you commit to anything, because sometimes they can be quite technical, sometimes they can be really quick fixes as well. This section might look different to you than it does to me, because there's a whole range of different categories that we look at. You can see down here all the audits that you've passed. So we've passed more than not, which is good. And then here are some items that we might look to fix. So things that are really easy that you can do are things around color contrast. So the thing about accessibility is we're trying to make it usable for people that have a whole range of different abilities, but actually it makes it much easier for everybody to use just generally. Like if you have good color contrast and you're able to read text much easier, it's easy for everybody. So looking at, is your text dark enough against a light background, or vice versa? Maybe you've got pale text against a really dark background. You can check to see if that's enough. There's tools that you can use to actually check the ratio of colors to see if they pass accessibility. So WCAG 2.0, or you can go to WebAIM is a website that you can look at, and you can input color values. So the background color, the foreground color, and see if it passes. So you can just go through your website and think, yeah, that yellow text on that background, white background is really not easy to read. I'll go through and update that. And if you've got control of your website, like if you can go and make edits on your platform, that's a super easy one that you can do. Names and labels, again, if you've got images or text links and you've got the control of your website editing panel, you can easily go through and give those images descriptive names. So you can imagine if someone is going using a screen reader to access your website and it comes to an image, that screen reader will read the name of the file that's been uploaded. So if you've got an image that's called image 123 ABC, that gives no information to the user about what the image might be. So it's kind of redundant. So if you can add an image to say, woman sitting on a bench wearing red shoes is much more descriptive and just makes the experience much better for your customers. And also if for whatever reason there's glitches in your website and the image doesn't show, that alt text will show up. So even people that aren't using a screen reader will be able to see, that was what they were trying to show in that image. Same for text links. If you can give those a description about where it's going to go, then that just helps everybody. And again, it's an easy one for you to change. Then there's other things such as ARIA, which are a bit more technical and a bit more related to the use of screen readers. So that might be something that you would get a developer to help you out with. But you can download the report, have a look yourself, have a think about what things you might be able to change. And if you've got any questions, these are things that you can come to the queue about as well, to our support team. So you can just send through and say, look, I'm thinking about changing this for my accessibility. Do you reckon that's something I can do? Or is that kind of a bit beyond me and maybe do I need some extra help? So feel free to contact our support team there too. And so once you make any changes like that on your website, they should update relatively quickly. So you can come back to Checkable, refresh. You may need to log out and log back in again. And you can see this update and kind of creep up higher and higher. So yeah, it's a really good one that you can kind of make big changes and make a much nicer experience for everybody using your site. And I think that's about it for customer experience for us now. I don't know if there's any questions that you've got, Georgia, that have popped up.
No questions have popped up, but please, you have your opportunity right now to ask Emily any questions. And of course, if something comes up later, we're available to you in the queue at support@digitalboost.co.nz. I did pop that into the chat, and I also popped into the chat the WebAIM contrast checker link if you wanted to pop on there and look at that. What I love about this, Emily, and what I love about you coming on, and I know you're super busy, so having you take this time out and not only prepare this presentation for us, but then share it with us is so appreciated. But the brilliant thing about it is we get to see all the little bits and pieces that we might think about here, we might think about there, you know, like you had said, autofill address, right? As you're mentioning all of these things, I'm going through my head on all the experiences I've had in e-commerce sites. I live rurally, so super important for the address to be correct. How many times have I not gotten packages? You know, probably my fault, but you know, seeing it all together in this way where we can really enhance the experience for our customers through, and Checkable is just showing us how to do that. I just love this tool, and I love that you are so brilliant and you share it with us so beautifully with such ease, so we can really understand it. So thank you a million times. Thank you.
It's all good. Yeah, it's a really great tool. And I mean, I know you've said it a million times, but it's free. It doesn't hurt just coming to check it out and have a play around. Yeah, and if you've got any questions, just come to the support team. They're really, really helpful. They're really awesome. And yeah, it just kind of gets you thinking about, oh, what little changes could I make to make it a better experience for my customers online, and just make that purchase process just smooth and fast, and kind of great for everybody, for both you as the product or service provider and the customer.
Yeah, we do have a question here. Sorry, my first time here. Is Checkable on Digital Boost an app or on Google, please? It's on the Digital Boost platform.
It's on the Digital Boost platform. So you just need to sign up to Digital Boost. You'll be asked a few questions when you sign up. And then you can come through to Checkable. There'll be actually, I'll show you. That's probably a good thing to show you while we're here. So you can sign up to Checkable, and then they'll ask a little bit about the type of business that you have. There's just a few questions. It's pretty quick and easy. And then you'll come to the Digital Boost homepage. You can find Checkable in the little tile here. So your tile might look different to mine if this is the first time that you've come. But if you've been to Checkable before, you can go and see your results here. You can also find it from the menu. So you can come down to Checkable. You can look at what it is. You can go straight to see your results. You can find your digital action plan. So that again is breaking down all those tests into those easy business wins right through to your long-term goals. So yeah, and you might be asked a couple of questions on your first time to Checkable. They'll ask if you've got a URL, so a business website. Make sure that it is correct and it is your one when you're going in, because you won't be able to change it. You will need to get support to help you change it if you make a mistake. So just double check that as a tip. And whether or not you've got any social media handles that you use for your business. Checkable also does a look at your social media presence and compares you to other businesses like yours. So on sign up, you'll be asked for what industry you're in. That's really important when you go to something like the social media page on Checkable, because it will be checking businesses within the same industry that have been around about the same amount of time, those sorts of things. So yeah, there's heaps you can do. Go and explore. You can't break anything. It's free. You won't be asked to pay for anything. And yeah, just have a go.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And you can also go through the platform, and even if you just pop in Checkable, you'll see it everywhere that we've talked about it, where you can get all the information you need from our Digital Boost team. And as Emily and I have said over and over, support at digitalboost.co.nz. We are there for you. Our team is spectacular. And dare I say, so kind. I really enjoy working with them. It's really lovely. Yeah. And again, we're going to have questions that are going to come up for people who are watching the recording. That's where you go. Emily, this is fantastic. Everyone, thank you for showing up over and over again. If you have questions that we are not answering, maybe you have a topic in your own business that you're curious about, and we haven't done a Q&A on it, or we haven't done a workshop on it, and it's something that you really love to see, please go to support at digitalboost.co.nz. Let me do my job and track someone down for you so that we can get experts to you. And this is so free. This is such a great resource that we have here in Aotearoa. I want to make it the best experience for you that I can. So give us all of your input, all of your feedback. Even if you're just like, I don't like her accent, that's fine. I won't take it personally, but just come in and let us know that you're watching and what you need from us. We're here to deliver. On Tuesday, just so you know, we're doing another Q&A on Tuesday with James Fuller from Henry, and he is going to be walking us through business tips for sole traders. Sign up for that one so you get the email, so that you get the reminder to pop on and be live with us again on Tuesday. It's going to be beyond just tax. So I know Henry is a great tool to use. There are other tools out there. James is fantastic in his delivery. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things around business tips that are beyond just tax, because tax just gives me so much anxiety. So I'm glad we won't be talking about that. And again, thank you, Emily. I'll be seeing you around, and maybe we can drag you back for some more insight on how to use our platform most efficiently. We have so much on the Digital Boost platform, and sometimes it's hard to see through the fog of it all. It can be quite overwhelming.
There's a lot on there, super useful, and it's such a great platform just to sort of dip in and out. The videos are so short and easy and awesome. Even 5 minutes a day is always helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful weekend. And I'll be seeing you soon. Matewa.
Bye.